How's it going, everybody? Time for another Mike's Gaming Gala live stream. That's right. We're going to be talking to Mr. POESTYLE. What's it? Mr. POESTYLE. Sorry. All right. We're going to be talking to Mr. POESTYLE. For those of you who are wondering why there isn't a Retro Bliss Rewind podcast tonight, Phil is still not doing great. In fact, I was talking to him earlier, and he's having a particularly bad day today. So we're going to be chatting with our good friend, Mr. POESTYLE. He is a great guy. If you have not seen his content, you're going to want to. I've linked his channel in the description. But first, before we bring him in, let's talk about a few things that are going on the channel, on my channel at least, Mike's Gaming Gala. Actually, both of these, well, the first one is a live stream, so it'll be on Retro Bliss Gaming as well. But tomorrow, December 3rd, is Intellivision Day. It's Intellivision's birthday. It's when it first came out. And I will be streaming at 10 p.m. Eastern. I will be playing Norseman 2 for the Intellivision. Prior to that, Casey, the Intellivision gamer, also a great friend of the channel, he is streaming for 3 hours, which is why I am streaming at 10. But he's going to be having a whole bunch of guests on. I will be one of them. I'll have a 20-minute slot where I will teach him Norseman because he did Norseman dirty when he did the homebrew highlight. But yeah, so I'll be on Casey's channel, and then I will be streaming for an hour at 10 p.m. Eastern. And then, of course, this Saturday, I'll be streaming. I'm not sure what I'm streaming yet at 2 p.m. Eastern. But on Game Freak's channel, which is Game On Forever, we did an interview. It was supposed to air last Saturday, but it is instead airing this Saturday live during the Retro Hour at 10 p.m. Eastern. Last Saturday, he had a snowstorm that knocked out his internet. So lots of great stuff this week. So make sure you tune in for that. Before I say hello to the chat, I am going to bring our man of the hour in, Mr. POESTYLE. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Oh, wait, you already did that. Never mind.
Time for another great Mike's Gaming Gala live stream. I think you probably don't hear the snap on my end because I've got like the noise canceling on. I find whenever I whistle, it also doesn't work. But we've got a few people in the chat. We've got Intellivision Gamers here.
Casey.
He was first, and of course, I expected nothing less. We've got the Wacky World of Windios. We've got, and he says this is a good one tonight. I totally agree. We've got Jolt 7800.
Yep.
Will 547. Andy Author. We've got Obsidian Contraption. We got Cannabis Kid. We have DeAndre 77. And yes, we all wish Mr. Bliss would get better. I know I've been saying it for like 5-6 months now, but we all wish he would get better. He's also taking care of his mom now, which is unfortunate. His mother's getting up there. So how are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing well, thank you. Just another cold night here. Oh, actually, we're down in the 30s, but out here it's a toasty 42 right now. I forgot to turn my heater on a little while ago there. So
42 inside the garage. You know what? That's Canadian summer right there.
All right.
Yeah. You're fine. I wanted to start maybe, and this is something that I know you've talked about in other interviews, but you've never talked about on my channel, which is how you got into doing YouTube in the first place.
Oh, okay. That was actually, it goes on back 2015. We were locked out, our union, from our company. We couldn't come to a contract agreement. We didn't go on strike, so they said, well, you're locked out until something's figured out. So during that time, for some reason, I started thinking, I'd like to build a multicade. I'd love to do that. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking everything up on this and how to do it. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'm not working. I can't buy all that stuff to make that thing, right? But I started watching gamers on YouTube, and I had never really done that up to that point. So, I'm discovering people like the Gaming Historian and the Angry Video Game Nerd, the Game Chasers. I'm loving all of these guys. Then I found Brian from Brian's Man Cave, and he led me to the Atari Creep, and we had the No Square Gamer. So I'm watching these guys. And then in the meantime, I got back to work. Instead of building a multicade, I decided I want to buy every console that I never had.
A lot of us have that moment, and then there's a moment 2-3 years after that that's like, I can't afford to buy every console.
Yes. And I was doing all right finding deals on consoles and add-ons and stuff and loading up the game libraries, but I got to the point where it's like, I can't buy games for every one of these consoles, not the way I want to, So that's when I got into EverDrive. Like, most of my TurboGrafx 16 is on the EverDrive. So I ended up doing that a lot more. But at some point, I'm watching some of these channels, and my son came in and, he said, you got all these consoles. Why don't you start a channel too? Well, maybe. I don't know if I want to do that or not. So I kind of dipped my toe into it. I got that New Wave Toys Dragon's Lair, the mini kit.
Yep.
So I did a little video on that. And then I found like these Master of the Universe miniature, tiny, world's smallest figures. So I did a little video on that and got a decent response to that. So I really didn't have any kind of intro or anything like that at all,
Yeah.
No real camera equipment or anything like that, nothing to edit with. But it all started that way. And I found that it was therapeutic. You're going to work all day. I go to a steel mill, drive there for an hour, drive back home. You find as you get older, if you're a gamer, there's not a lot of people left that really want to talk about playing those games now that are your age. They might say, I remember having that Nintendo thing back, or that Atari back in the day. Yeah, I remember. I loved Combat. I was like, yeah, Combat. It's like, but you start meeting people when you do these channels. And really, subscribers, they weren't really the top thing on my mind. I was shocked when I got to 50 subscribers. But people talking about it and talking about playing those games and they're collectors too. That's what I loved about it. So it became a thing where when I come home and after family time is over, usually right before bed, if I can go down to the game room and capture some footage and do a little intro and outro out here, I look forward to that. Now, I don't script anything, obviously. I might have a few ideas, bullet points in my head. I always say I'm going to get a dry erase board out here and put things down, but I end up just talking to the camera like I would to anybody else. And as things hit me, oh yeah, this happened and that happened. That's kind of the way I do things. So.
My first 2 or 3 videos I did with no script, and I realized very quickly that if I'm going to try to do a review, that is a really bad idea.
Right.
Well, and it's first of all, my first video going in the audio of my on camera and just dipping out all the right?
Yep.
And then just also after you're done, it's like, oh, I forgot this. Oh, I forgot that. Oh, I forgot this. You're pretty good at being pretty thorough. Like watching your videos is like just vocalizing your stream of thought. You're very good at that.
Yeah, I think being the youngest of 4 kids, you learn to vocalize. Actually, usually the youngest of the bunch are the most annoying, right? We're the ones bouncing around everywhere trying to get attention. Yeah. Look at me. But yeah, I'm a talker. You know that. It's hard to stop me sometimes. So.
I'm a talker for the opposite reason. I'm the oldest of 6. And so it's like I had to be in command.
Right. You have to be heard above.
Tony D is asking, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but I know you're not shy. How old are you?
I'm 52. I turned 52 in July. So, yeah, I'm right now at this point looking a good bit younger than my sister and my oldest brother anyway. Now, my other brother that's 2 years older than me, that was my best friend and my arch enemy growing up. But when he was born premature. So that's why we say he has a full head of hair now, and me and my other brother are just bald. You know, we're kind of jealous about that hair, but at the same time, he covers it with a hat all the time anyway. So if I had hair like that, man, you would see it. I'd be
and there's proof in that, because the chat may not know, but you used to rock a pretty legendary mullet.
I had a sweet mullet back in school, and a lot of people went the way of the full rock star hair.
Yeah.
And I don't think we even called them a mullet back then, right? Late 80s, early 90s. It was just a hairstyle that a lot of dudes had. At least in this area, a lot of dudes had. Now, mine was special. I didn't do the spiking. That's too much work. It was more of a feathered right here and then long in the back, you know.
Yeah.
Took the old goody comb out. Boom, boom. And actually, I would take my shower first thing in the morning and walk to the bus stop. So in the wintertime, that long hair would freeze. So one of my buddies started calling me Pony Boy Curtis from The Outsiders, Pony Boy all the time. I was a greaser. But it really wasn't greasy. Once it dried, buddy, boom, it fluffed right up.
Yeah. People also may not, like, I buzz mine. But when if you look at my first video, this is the same hairline I had in my first video. But I did not have a buzz cut at that point. I've got a fuller head of hair than you would think. And all of my younger brothers are bald.
Bald.
And I lord it over them like nothing else. But like we were talking about in the green room, there's nothing funny about being bald. It happens to a large percentage of men. Comb overs are funny. My brother, who's 4 years younger than me, had a comb over at one point, and I teased him relentlessly. Insecurity is what's funny.
Yeah, I had one of my favorite English teachers in high school, but that comb over, man. I mean, whenever he would get wild in class, it would fly off the side like a whip. And then
my grandfather had one. The wind hits it, and it's like out to here. My brother's comb over, though, it wasn't a side comb over. It was a forward comb over. So he had like the hair coming down. He hadn't quite grown it Trump long yet, where you can like fold it all the way down and then back up. Oh, what was I gonna? I was like one of the things I do like about your channel, though, talking about that unscripted, is, and I think probably a lot of people in the chat or whoever are watching are going to relate to this. But like when you were in college, you're having a couple drinks with your buddies, it's like 1 a.m, and you're just playing video games and teasing each other and cracking wise cracks and making jokes. Like my favorite time to watch your videos is while I'm editing. Because, like, I don't need to necessarily watch your video because you're narrating the whole thing. And when you're playing, he's like, oh, what's it? Then I'll go and I'll skip back and I'll watch a bit. But just having that vibe of being in a room with a buddy and just making jokes and playing video games is what I love about your channel.
Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, I appreciate it. Well, I remember one of the things that you guys said, you and Dr. Scott, after the YouTuber of the Month thing was about liking how genuine it is. And really, I don't see any other way to go about doing something like that. I am sitting here by myself when I'm making it, but I'm talking to the camera like I'm talking to friends about it. I let you know about this game. Sometimes a little too much. Hey, this is the kind of work day I had, man, and it sucked. I'm not feeling good. You put it all out there, right?
Well, yeah, and I kind of really like that non-filtered thing. I try to make my live streams like that, where I'm just, okay, so especially with Mr. POESTYLE on, if you're watching from the Retro Bliss Gaming channel, we're PG-13, okay? So I could say this. I like to just shoot the shit on my live stream, right? With the Retro Bliss Rewind podcast, we usually have a topic, but it's not like I rehearse what I'm going to say on that topic. It's just, okay, I know we're going to be talking about this. And so everything's just off the cuff. Right. And sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes it's, maybe not perfect.
Yeah, during gameplay, whether it's live like you do, or when I do my gameplay, it might as well be live because really nothing from my gameplay is ever edited. So
Yeah.
I'm not the
We
swear
we can
monster,
tell.
but
When I post a video of my gameplay, I usually edit out all the stuff that you show everybody of being terrible at the game.
right, right. And I'll play if I'm going to play. I'll play whether I'm feeling good or not. So, like we
Yeah.
talked about with my health issues, there's times where haloing things like that. I get silent migraines. I'll get like a blurred vision. I'll still play through that. I don't care. I'm going to suck at the game one way or the other. I'm just trying to have fun while I'm doing it. But I really don't. I don't swear that much as like maybe Bliss would let on that I'm a big foul mouth.
You're not nearly as vulgar as Bliss would make people think you are.
Right. But you're gonna hear it just like as a kid when you play something and you think that it was a bullcrap move by the computer, you got killed, sometimes it's gonna be a swear word that comes out instead of dirty dogs.
That's pretty tame. I think one of my favorites, I wish you would go back to it. But when you were playing the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle game, there was one episode where you would like knock Nazi soldiers out. Sorry, German soldier. I know there's a big difference between German military and Nazi, which was a political party, but we know what you mean. They're World War II Germans. But you knock them out, and then in that game, you've got a camera. So you would put them in compromising poses with each other and make yourself some Nazi porn.
Yeah, you got to be careful anytime there's a camera involved in a game or writing. And Off-Grid found that out with VR. I was making a lot of VR videos where you could actually write on a tablet or something. So I would draw a picture of a wiener and then I would write Off-Grid on it in my videos. I have it right there for you.
Well, and that's the thing. So that's what I mean by the PG-13, right? It's one of those things where yes, there's the odd swear word, but mostly it's just very juvenile humor.
Right. That's the only way to go.
and honestly, if you're in your 40s or your 50s and you don't appreciate a good fart joke or a beat 'em and eat 'em joke, what's the point of being an adult, man? Like, there's a famous Doctor Who quote. It's what's the point in being a grown-up if you can't be a kid sometimes?
That's true.
And I abide by that.
Yeah, you gotta have fun.
My boys are 19 and 16, and every once in a while they'll be like, Dad, because like I'm being so immature compared to, but they're at that age where like everything's serious, right?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and I remember being like that too. But I mean, farts were always funny. Yeah, exactly, Andy. Humor, like that's what she said. I think you're right. You made a recent comment that there was a lot of that's what she said moments, but it's starting to get a little old. So yeah, it ebbs and flows. I think we got to leave that's what she said lie a bit until it's funny again.
Right.
But so OG Hugo. So how is this guy a legend? He is a legend to me.
Because I bought one of your game pads, OG Hugo, and I bought this thing. This was you too, right? The Pi. I haven't used it yet. It's a Pi-Rito. I'm legendary because I bought your merch.
He's the man, the myth, the legend. Yeah, that maybe I oversold it a little bit, but you're a legend in my mind. So another part of your channel that I loved and just recently ended was your collaboration, monthly collaboration. Prior to that, it was a weekly collaboration with Bart from Off-Grid Arcade, G. Parker, Greg, Mike, the Gaming Road Warrior. You guys had a live show every Sunday night and then every first Sunday of the month called The Show. And your last one was last month. And I know there is a hole in my heart for this coming Sunday when it would have aired, but you guys stopped doing it. Why don't you tell me about how you got into the show and then how that kind of progressed. Obviously, I'm not looking for dirt on it. It's just like, tell me about the show and how you met those guys.
Wow, that was some years ago. Somebody reached out to me actually on Facebook and asked, "Do you have a channel?" I don't know anything about this guy, so I'm like, "Yeah, I have a channel." So then they sent me a private message and they said that they wanted to get some kind of a show together where people could talk, guys from different gaming aspects, and so we had actually, there was another guy that we all watched. This guy would have great gameplay on all the time and chat with everybody. And Off Grid and Mike, they were in, and Bliss as well. We were always in that chat while the guy played these games, and he would take requests. And he started doing a Poe ride home from work stream just while I drove home from work. So we knew each other from that. This other guy that was reaching out that wanted to start a channel also knew that guy. So then they said, well, there were a couple of ideas for different shows. If you remember the iArcadians, they actually asked us at first to do a show like that, if we would all get an iArcade and do that show. And at the time, I wasn't going to buy an iArcade, so it was kind of a no-go for that. So they threw this other show together that we did. And it was all over the place, how, what night it was going to be on, what we did. But he did giveaways, the host of that show. And we would get together for that. But things kind of fell apart. Well, there was one week that I couldn't make it. They were having it late on a Sunday. I couldn't be there. So they asked G. Parker to come in. They knew him from his pinball channel. So he came in to my spot for that week. And then the next week when I came back, they're kind of like, we asked G. Parker to be a part of the show too now. Okay, that's cool. We're all part of the show. But eventually things happen. And I think Off Grid might have been the first to leave. And we're going to keep going on with the show. But then the Gaming Road Warrior had a lot of stuff coming up for weekends and stuff like that. So he was going to step down for a while. And Greg wasn't coming back. So they were getting a new person to join us. And I just kind of got to the point where work was getting busier for me. But at the same time, I didn't want to straight out tell these guys. It was like, with the Gaming Road Warrior and Off Grid going, I have no interest in doing this anymore, So yeah, I was kind of like, well, I'm done. So after I said I was done, even though the other two guys found somebody else, they're just like, that's it. This show was over.
Yeah.
And, certain things happen through that time. You find out certain things about certain people. And so Bart and Greg got a pinball show going on Sunday nights. And I said from the start, at some point when things clear up with work, I'd like to get us all back together again for some kind of a show. And it finally all came back together. It was actually, the show was going to be called Coin-Ops, Consoles, and Pinball. But they just kind of shortened it. I think it was Greg that just said, "Hey, everybody, welcome to the show." It's like, okay, it's generic, but it's the show in all capital letters. So that's what it was. It was supposed to be originally. You had Off Grid talking about playing pinball, Greg talking about pinball, and then they both did simulators. And then the Gaming Road Warrior and myself do consoles, old and new. So it was going to be that kind of a thing, but it really just turned into a big bullshit session. We came
at one point in time, I thought it was a vinyl show, wasn't it?
Everything was talked.
I remember about. One episode we talked about vinyl.
Right. We ended up covering everything or whatever came up in the chat. So it was just a hangout show then from there on out on Sundays. And we did it, for the first couple years, every single Sunday. At least one of us would be there with the others. So
yeah,
I think I missed one show, and I think Off Grid missed two. So we missed the least out of everybody. And the reason I missed is because I was in the hospital for like 4 or 5 days. So, and actually, my wife told me go on live with them anyway. But I'm laying there in the hospital bed, and I'm like, nah, I don't think that's going to work out.
Got the heart monitor going while you're like, hey,
literally,
guys.
Yeah. So
the other camaraderie is that you are an Air Force veteran, and Bart and Mike are both Navy veterans.
They're both Navy, and Greg was a retired fireman. That was his job his whole life.
Doesn't count.
Right.
Doesn't count.
So he wasn't military, but he was a first responder.
Yes.
And most of all, he knew how to break balls. So that's what it's all about.
He looks like a man that saved many a cat in his life. Yeah. But
yeah,
it has that familiar military humor to it. That show, and we were talking about this too. Like I learned it from a large family. I have 5 younger siblings, all boys, and it was one of those things like, you know that something's wrong when people stop teasing you. Like
right.
Art is always on you for how bad you play games. And we are always on Bart for how bad he plays games. Frankly, we're always on Bliss for how bad he plays games. And my channel actually has an emoji where you can comment on how bad I play.
Right.
Right. So, and that's, man, it's a vibe that I love, because you could tell none of you guys were taking yourselves too seriously.
Right. Yeah, although sometimes those Navy guys would gang up on me because I'm Air Force. I mean, the gaming road warrior, man, he was the guy that even if you wanted to, you couldn't get mad at that guy, right? You met him in person like I did, and
I am so glad that I did too. He's
he's the biggest
salt of the earth.
Yeah, biggest sweetheart you ever met. What you see is what you get, right? He's a great dude, and so. Sometimes it was even hard making jokes about him. I'd rather just focus on Bart and Greg. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And honestly, I feel, because I remember there was one where we're talking like there was some running joke with Mike about like, show us your tits. I remember that. That was for an episode or two. But we love you too, BCB. But Gaming Road Warrior, if you're not subscribed to him, you should absolutely check him out. I'm a member of his channel, but he recently released a video of like trauma of like other kids destroying his stuff when he was a kid. And I watched that like a dad whose child was violated.
Yeah. Right? I got a little angry during that video.
I did.
And sad.
And like, if I had watched the same video but you made it, I'd probably laugh the whole time.
Right.
But with Mike, it's like, oh, you poor boy.
And just like you said, I can deal with things from my childhood. I mean, my dad was always grumpy. That's a good chunk of where old Poe comes from, I think.
Yeah.
Working shift work and coming home, and you got these loudmouth kids and look. But that part when he's talking about the stepfather, and I won't spoil it for anybody, I got angry at his stepfather while I'm listening to Mike tell the story.
I got angry at the one comment.
Right. Like, yes, I know which one.
I have the, we're not going to spoil the thing, but I do have the policy. It's like, my kids don't own their rooms. If I say I'm going into your room, I'm going to go into your room, because I don't see your name on the wall. My home. But my wife is also at that level.
Right.
So at no point in time would I ever tell my kid, you and your mom live here.
Yes.
Because of my good. It's like, oh man.
Yeah. When he said that, man, I got pretty angry right there for him.
But yeah, and then what I know behind the scenes, but just like broadly, what led you guys to decide to end the show?
Well, there's a lot of things that happen there. Sunday nights, I mean, we're all pretty much in different time zones. So you have me out east, and you have Mike way out west, and Bart down in Texas, Greg in Missouri. Finding the right time to begin with was kind of rough. So let's start this show at 7:00 Sunday, my time. It's still 4:00 Mike's time. And he's just wrapping up. Maybe hasn't even had family dinner yet on a Sunday. And Off Grid works the weekends. He works Saturday and Sunday. So Mike and I are off. Greg's retired. Sunday sounds great. But then you also have, like I said, with Mike, family things sometimes happen on a Sunday after church or whatever they're doing. And Off Grid's worked all day. He's been up and around since 4 a.m. So he's doing our show that late. And then he also liked to do some golfing, VR golfing with his boys that live in different states after the show. So with all that going on, and Sunday night, I try to get to bed a little bit early because I got to get up at 4 a.m. the next day. Just a lot of times it wasn't working out so well. Weekly, we thought we would try it monthly. We did that. And it was going all right, but it just kind of came to a point where, well, maybe if we're going to do a special or something, we'll come on and do that. But it's just kind of time, it's time to wrap it up for now.
You can always come back and do a special this Sunday, even though you guys would always start when dinner for me is 7 o'clock Sunday nights. And you guys would always start at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Right. And you noticed that through the years, we got later, the weeks, we got later and later. Poor Off-Grid he's already tired from work. He had scarfed down his dinner. He's out there waiting in the studio on us at 1:45. And when he noticed time and time again, we're showing up at 5 till. Next thing you know, the show wasn't starting until 5 after or 10 after 7.
Yeah, there was a couple times it was like 20 after.
Right.
Yes, Andy. Last month was the show.
Yeah, that was it. And the one time we started the whole show and did a whole 20 or 30 minutes of it and realized that he never hit the live button. So we had to start all over. People in the chat were like, what's going on? And
I think I was there. I was commenting. It's like, oh, you guys are really late or something like that. And if I recall, I think somebody responded in the chat, just like, oh shit.
Yeah, and the funny thing was, at first following that chat while we were going, it was almost like people were talking about what we were talking about. It almost kind of matched up. So that's why Bart was thrown off by that. And then eventually, I don't know if Kelly came up and told him, or he saw something there in the chat. He's like, "Aren't we live? We're not live."
It's good. Well, and that was one of the great things too. Is you always my wife does not watch. I could say whatever I want in any of my videos or live streams. My wife doesn't watch any of it.
Yeah.
Kelly was there in the chat every single show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She's there in the chat all the time on Off Grid Arcade's channel when he's streaming just on his own too. She's incredibly supportive, which is awesome because you get a person like that can, how many times have we watched Retro Bliss and the first 15 minutes is silent?
Right.
Because he's not looking at the chat and nobody, we're all screaming it in the chat, but he doesn't have anybody around him watching. There's been a couple times I've tried to call him, but of course he doesn't pick up his phone. But so it's awesome to have somebody like that to be able to help you out. But she let it go 20 minutes. She was slipping that day. Operation Shutdown says, I hope the show will reunite for a special Pose New Year Rockin' Eve episode. That'd be good.
What do you do at that point? The Three Stooges had to replace Curly. They brought Shep back who did their vaudeville stuff. They brought in Joe and then Curly Joe. I guess maybe we'll have to get a Bart Joe if Bart doesn't want to do one of the episodes, or Curly Greg.
You could get Bliss to just not wear the hat. At least you got the bald guy rocking it. That fills in for him. If you want, I can powder my beard and my hair, and I can be Greg. We could put something together.
When we had StreamYard, anytime you would get to one of those points where if you went to Greg and he wasn't paying attention or he was doing something, Bart started playing that music until Greg would snap to and start talking again. Love that.
Greg was good comedic relief for just Like I remember there was a couple times where he'd be you guys would be talking about something and he'd be participating in it, and then the topic would move on, and then he would just like barge back into that. He was still in that zone.
Right. He had the window behind him the one week, and we told him it's pretty bright. The light was shining in through there. It's kind of hard to see you, Greg. It's like an eclipse. So he goes off and he struggles with those blinds. And when he comes back, the blinds are just like demolished in the background and hanging this way. And it's freaking hilarious. It's like, well, he didn't get them closed, but that made for a good stream anyway.
I have watched enough Mr. POESTYLE that I think I know this. But Jolt 7800 says, "What is Mr. POESTYLE's favorite arcade cabinet?" I think I know what it is.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was actually Pop. I thought it was not Super Mario Brothers.
Well,
you mentioned that was your favorite arcade, but Popeye was favorite on the console.
Yeah, Popeye started out with the 2600. I loved that game on there. Not more than Hero, and a lot of people think that Hero was my love as a kid on there. But Popeye was one that my brother got. The arcade cabinets, yeah, originally it was Mario Brothers, but now if I go to an arcade, I have to find Popeye. I do have to find Mario Brothers as well because I love playing that. But yeah, back in the day, no question, it would have been Mario Brothers. I think the very first arcade cabinet that I ever played was Crazy Climber, and that got me like infatuated with arcades. Never saw anything like it.
I never could really get into Crazy Climber.
Yeah, as I got older, it was a little more, but when I was a kid, and of course I sucked at it, but as many quarters as I could and throw into that thing.
It might be because I wasn't even aware of the game when I was a kid. I didn't, first see it until I was an adult.
Yeah, I never saw it, surprisingly, for the 2600. Or as a kid, I would have had that, but we always took Spider-Man as our Crazy Climber by Parker Brothers. That was always a fun one, too. But yeah, now I've got to hunt down Popeye and Mario Brothers if I'm at an arcade that has all the classics.
Andy Author thinks Hero is the best Atari 2600 game. I certainly think it's up there. It's not my favorite, mostly because I blow myself up with dynamite all the time on Nintendo.
Yeah, it's easy to do on the 2600 for sure.
Very easy to do. I like ARTI.
Yeah,
the Muddy Vision version of Hero for the 7800 because you got the two different buttons. But BCB says if he was on mescaline, he might enjoy Crazy Climber.
Well, the whole Hero thing is, this is when we had our Atari, and everything up to that point, mostly a lot of DOS, aside from Pitfall. My brother got that the first Christmas that we got the 2600, but yeah, Hero was just different than everything else. So I fell in love. I found it in the discount bin, grabbed that thing, and I never had seen it before. I'm looking at the box, and took it up to the register at the Kmart, took that puppy home, loved it.
And again, like Hero wasn't one that I had back in the day. I didn't discover it until it was probably late 90s. I picked it up. Thank God, because it's stupid money now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I that might be a part of it too. I don't have a nostalgia component to it. Speaking of nostalgia component in some of the best Atari 2600 games, what's your beef with Space Invaders?
All right. No real beef, but it just wasn't my thing at that point. When we got the Atari.
So you didn't like good games. Okay.
Oh. Our first lineup of games was later than a lot of people probably. We didn't get our Atari till Christmas of '82. So with those, of course, you had Combat, and ours came with Bliss's favorite, Pac-Man, was packed into that one.
Yep.
But my oldest brother got Pitfall, my other brother got Defender, and I got Stampede. My parents just picked games and put our names on it. That's how they did it, And so I thought we had a pretty good lineup of games, especially Pitfall was pretty impressive to me at that time. So you end up with other space games and stuff, and pretty soon it was just like every game that friends wanted to lend to you was space. And they got hooked on asteroids and stuff like that. But I think, my brother played so much of the Space Invaders, And every game was space because the 80s was all about space and video games, at least at the beginning. So it wasn't one, it's not one that I go back to very often now. I do agree that I think it's a better version than at the arcade. But if I'm going to sit down and pick from my collection of something to play, I never grab Space Invaders for that.
On an interview with BCB, I think you said it was your least favorite.
Well, and you know why I did that? Because I knew that I was going to get a reaction out of you.
Hurt me. Damn you. Damn you guys and your remotes, your Michelle jokes, your on accident.
Oh, BCB with that gotcha journalism. That's what it was. He said, okay, now I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm like, all right, what is your least favorite Atari 2600 game? I'm like, oh, wait, man, that's a rough one. I mean,
I absolutely loved his segment where he just picks the little, but they're all gotcha questions. It's like, and especially for me, who has this reputation of being down on Atari, which I'm not. Atari makes wonderful products. They really mess up with their customer service sometimes, which we're going to talk about because you've got a big history with that. But he draws one of the little paper things like, Mike, what is the worst part about Atari? I'm like, you're just going to make everybody hate me, man.
What's your least favorite game? Why do you hate children and puppies? Now, where'd that come from, BCB?
Speaking of BCB, he says Enduro is his favorite 2600 racing game, and I would agree with that.
Yeah,
and M Jedi Agnostics says, I have not tried Enduro yet, but I'm gonna pick up a copy. You absolutely should. And apparently, Poe, you cheat at Connect 4. Andy has an interesting story about buying Hero, but it's too long for a chat box. So maybe he can leave a comment after and we can all take a look at it. And yes, that's his spilling the tea jar. Mr. Bliss's favorite game is absolutely Pac-Man for the 2600. He's told me that many times, and he just puts on a show online so that people don't make fun of him. But we all know the truth. So, speaking of Atari, you've and you mentioned this in your most recent video, which was a Pac-Man the Pac-Man Plus unboxing, which you purchased, and after watching your video, I feel a little remorse. Hopefully, it goes the way of the 7800 Plus and drops,
right?
And I can pick it up later. How do you cheat at Connect 4? You accidentally drop 2 coins at once. Trust me, if there's a competition, there's a way to cheat. Why don't you tell us about your history with Atari's customer service? Because you've got a long one that it involves a lot of 8 p.m.s.
Right. Yeah. And BCB does too. Actually, BCB had me on a time or two where that's all we did was talk about.
Yeah.
How upset we were because you want to love the place. You want to love Atari.
Exactly. Which is like, I saw a post from BCB, I think a couple months ago, where he apparently had been accused of being a shill. And it's like, when you go to Ballistic Coffee Boy's channel, you know he loves Atari. You know he's a positivity channel. But he doesn't shy away of, complaining about their customer service.
Right.
And when you complain about Atari's customer service, you're not complaining about necessarily the people in there. It's just obviously they're very overworked because, the customer service isn't always on the person doing it. Maybe there's just too much. Like, I don't think they put enough investment in their customer service side. But sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh no, yeah. You're exactly right there. They don't have a whole lot of people there to even respond back to you, I don't think, whenever you try to contact them about these things. But yeah, right off the bat, I mean, buying things, they would have certain games, pre-order this game now, and you would pre-order that, and then you wouldn't see that game until 8 or 9 months later or whatever. The original 2600 Plus, BCB knows, but it happened to me too. You ordered it day one, hour one, and everybody's getting them, and you're not. Mine was pushed off, but not near as bad as his was that year. I think I got mine at the beginning of December there 2 years ago, and he didn't get his till far later.
Like he was making content like for a few weeks about like the states of depression that he
Yes,
was
I love
going
that.
through. And like being Canadian, I couldn't order it from Atari's website. I ordered it on Amazon like 4 weeks after all you guys did, and I got mine before you guys did.
Right. And the same thing with they announced this Mr. Run and Jump special edition and a silver box. And so I pre-ordered that thing. And then later down the road, a few months later, there's like, here's regular Mr. Run and Jump in an orange box, and you can get it right now. So everybody's
That's the version that I've got.
Yeah, and everybody got it immediately. And the
Yep.
rest of us waited from that fall clear until I think the next summer to get this special edition. Well, I thought it was going to be the only edition to Atari. So some of the things that they do, they were coming out with these certain games, and all of a sudden after you order the game or games, then they say, here's a box set of all those same games all together in one. It's like, well, that's kind of some bull crap there too. I'm not going to buy Save Mary or whatever on cartridge and then buy the box set again and get it again. And, so stuff like just it was little things like that. And for a while there, all the games were taking quite a while to get to you. And the Atari jacket, I normally don't go and buy the other merch that they have, but I pre-ordered this Atari jacket, and I want to say, gosh, was that like a year and a half later I got the thing or something crazy like that finally came? So they weren't the best for it, and then it was great whenever they started having Amazon handle some of the stuff. But things were going pretty
And
smooth.
Amazon certainly ain't perfect. I've gotten
Right.
like I pre-ordered from Amazon the Intellivision Sprint, and
Yeah.
that is mine now. It originally said December 5th, then like a week after I ordered it, it said December 9th, which fine, I don't care. And now, like 2 days ago, or no, yesterday, because Casey was actually quite upset. Casey got an advance copy, an advanced console,
Right.
but he is under embargo. He can't show anything until December 4th. Well, what happened yesterday? There was a bunch of Canadian people who had ordered, got theirs before even launch. But I said, so I messaged him because he was messaging me. He's like, "Did you get yours today too?" And I was like, "If it makes you feel any better, I got an email from Amazon saying it's going to be the 18th now."
Yeah, I think, and I could be wrong, but I think these are actually the ones that Atari's shipping because there was a few people last week on Wednesday saying that they ordered through Atari and the shipping label was created for them. And it seems like a lot of those, if not all of them, are people up in Canada. From
Well,
what
and
I've
OG
read.
Hugo here, like a lot of people, I know a lot of people got their tracking number, but when you check it, like OG Hugo says here, it still hasn't been picked up by USPS.
Right. Right. The label's
So
been created or whatever.
yeah,
Right.
so they're definitely, they're definitely going through it, but maybe they're waiting till like when is it supposed to release? December 5th, I think,
The
right?
5th, right?
The 5th. So maybe on
No,
the 4th your label be created.
I ordered this one, the Sprint, through Amazon. I waited. Now, a year ago, I would have told you to order through Amazon and not Atari, but Atari had been doing better, I thought. So in July, when the pre-orders opened for the Pac-Man edition, I went ahead
I
and said,
love I love the thought process because you've been burned so badly in the past by a year and a half with the jacket. And you're like,
right,
you know what? It seems better now. I'll try it again.
we can make this relationship work, Johnny. Yeah,
He
so
beats
I
me
did,
because he loves me.
but it was it was also because I'm not a very patient person. So whenever they brought it up for pre-order on Atari, it wasn't out on Amazon yet. And I'm like, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna order this thing. And then sure enough, they're gonna ship it October 31st or whatever. And it's like the very next day, I'm seeing people saying that they got theirs and stuff, and I didn't. And so anyway, time's going on. A couple of weeks in, I finally sent Atari an email. I'm like, what's going on? All these people were getting them. I ordered the first day. Where is it? So the next Monday, customer service got back to me and they said, we're looking into this. I think it was that Thursday, I got a note saying it was shipped, and then customer service reached back out. It's going to be shipped. It's like, okay, that's great. Now, whether this is Atari or FedEx, I guess you could blame FedEx more, but tracking this thing, they said it was going to be here last Monday. So by 8 p.m., and it wasn't there. So then they said, well, it's going to be here. It's right after that, later that night. It's going to be here by Tuesday, 8 p.m. And it wasn't there. The next one said, well, it'll be here by Friday, 8 p.m. I'm like, well, why not Wednesday? You did Monday, Tuesday. Why not Wednesday? Thursday was Thanksgiving here, so we knew we weren't getting anything that day. But Friday did roll around, and I did send a message to Off Grid and the Gaming Road Warrior and a screenshot of that. And it says by 8. I said, place your bets now, boys. Is it coming tonight by 8 o'clock? And it didn't. I'm looking outside. It's darker and getting darker and darker outside. And there's just nothing out there. So finally, Saturday morning, this past Saturday, I got up and I actually had a text message from FedEx saying it was out for delivery. And then Atari as well sent me something, and it was there. So there it is. It was almost a month since pre-order started shipping.
Because it's your story, it was funny. If that was the story coming from Mike the Gaming Road Warrior, I would feel terrible for him right now.
Well, right, exactly. But I can't win anyway.
There's an innocence to that man.
Definitely. It's just if I order anything Atari, no matter what, right? Because now pre-order the Sprint from Amazon. I waited until they put it up on there a week later or whatever, and
it was actually a couple. At least for me, it was like 2 weeks later.
2 weeks. Yeah, it was later for you. I remember we were talking about that. And now you see like people were getting theirs from Atari and not Amazon. I'm like, whoops, did I make the wrong choice this time? Because I don't know if you remember.
When you said you were waiting for Amazon, I should have known. I should have ordered from Atari. And I probably would have gotten mine yesterday.
Right. Yeah. Place your bets. Go against what I say because, man, I don't know. People were getting them or were getting them anyway yesterday, whatever day that was, from Atari. But Bart and I had been talking about it. Like you guys got messages like right away. It's not going to be the 5th. It's going to be the 9th. Now it's pushed back. Yeah. I think Pierre was saying like Christmas Eve or something like that. It's supposed to be between then and the 28th. They told him. Amazon US hasn't told us anything. So I go in several times a day to my orders.
Yeah.
And you'll see everything that I've ordered, what's on its way, what has been delivered. And when it shows that Sprint, all it says was order received. It doesn't tell you anything else, It's out of stock on there. But it just says, yeah, your order is received. Big deal, So you'll get it when you get it, huh? So
I'll respond to M Jedi Agnostics here. Atari can ship stuff, they just can't get it to you when they're supposed to.
And whenever they send these things, I put that in my video too. FedEx guy brought it, and it wasn't the worst delivery I've ever seen, but I had to get a screen capture of that. He brings it up to my porch, and it just does the whole drop slide across the porch with the thing, right?
Yes.
And I didn't see it when I opened it, but later I'm looking at the box inside. And I blame Atari for this too. I mean, FedEx is going to be FedEx, but everything's so tight when they put that box in there. It just fits perfect in that outer cardboard box they put in. So if anything's going to smack that thing on the corners, I mean, everything.
Give me even a 1/4 inch of bubble wrap.
Yeah.
Like just something. And
it doesn't damage anything inside, but I mean, the box, some people want to keep that,
Most people who are buying stuff from Atari want to keep that box. Nice.
And I haven't had a game yet that hasn't had some box damage on it from Atari.
That sucks. I've been lucky. Most of mine, I think maybe I've had a couple little ones, but BCB, never blame the interns. They're not making any money. Therefore, right. You cannot expect anything from them.
But then again, last year, and I was just reminded of this, I ordered the 7800 Plus through Amazon. I did order that through Amazon. So this was just something that was messed up in my bad luck. I was out in the state of Washington, the whole way across the country last year in November. I had pre-ordered that 7800 plus the summer before, like I always do, and that thing I put on my Amazon charge. You know, I'll buy stuff on there and then pay it down. So I bought that 7800 plus with that charge card. We're at the hotel, and I think it was the day before Thanksgiving here.
This is another story. If you were Mike, I would feel so bad, but it's hilarious to me. Go ahead.
They send me an email and they say, this 7800 plus, do you still want to use the same payment method that you did back in the pre-order? I'm thinking, well, of course I do. You don't have to ask that. If it's not going to be that, I'll come back in and change the payment method. You know, if you still want this as your payment method, you have to do this for whatever reason from a desktop or a laptop or whatever. Go in and confirm. Well, I didn't have a desktop or a laptop. I'm the whole way across the country. So then Thanksgiving comes, Black Friday comes. You know, I'm trying to fake it on my phone. Yeah, I'm a desktop here. Yeah, not going to work. So we fly back to Pennsylvania that Saturday after Thanksgiving. We get home here finally from the airport around midnight. I go right on the computer. I say, yes, that's the payment method I still want to use. And then I get a message back from them. Oh, we're out of stock. We're out of stock of the system that I pre-ordered with a perfectly fine payment method. So it doesn't matter if it's Amazon or Atari. Anything I get from Atari is going to be cursed. That's and by the time they got it to me, it wasn't until Christmas Eve. And they were actually calling for it not coming until like a few days after Christmas, but it was a Christmas miracle. I got my 7800 plus Christmas Eve of last year.
Where are you getting the POESTYLE? I mean, he might be. Yeah, that's hilarious. It's like, I've already given you the credit card. Charge the credit card.
Right.
Like,
oh, and that little thumb drive, that software on for the Atari VCS.
Oh, yes, yep.
Yeah, those had been out of stock, and they finally came back in stock. What was this? Was this 2 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago. I'm like, yeah, I bought like the last one they had. And so they were going to ship it. So FedEx tracking took it the whole way to like the desert in Arizona, and then that was it. There was no more tracking ever again. I get a hold of Atari, and I'm like, what happened to this thing? You know, where's it at? Oh, we'll investigate. So they get back to me a few days later, and they're just like, yeah, it's gone. It's gone. We don't have any more in stock. We can give you your money back. Well, yes, please give me my money back if you don't have any more in stock. Everything Atari. Wow. And I'm just a fool.
You know what? I'm starting to think that maybe it's not Atari, it's you.
It is.
It's just you. Luck. And the reason BCB has had bad issues is because he's friends with you.
Right.
And the reason my sprint is now delayed is because of you.
And Bart. Well, Bart did get his Black Friday 70.
Oh yeah, I watched his video. I'm excited
you actually
that Bart has his first Atari.
I'm
excited that Bart has his first Atari.
No, I do watch them, but I haven't yet. I usually watch everything.
I'll be honest. I usually try to catch his live streams, but I don't watch a lot of his videos because they're mostly pinball or simulation. And
I'll watch generally most of them in the evening. His simulation ones are ones that I like to listen to on the drive home just to hear the chatter.
Oh, okay, yeah. But I love his live streams because Bart is an awesome guy, and you just exchange and you make jokes and you do all that stuff. But I really like that he's got an Atari now, and I might get some views out of it because I told him we did a podcast on our favorite 7800 games, and I've got like a couple hundred mini reviews of 2600 games for you to watch. And he's like, dude, I live in a shed. I'm not buying tons of art. I'm like, well, you can just watch and see what you want to get, and then you buy like the 5 that you want.
Yeah, he needs the highlighted version. What are the best of the best? What can you get for
sure?
Well,
and also he said he doesn't want to spend $1 jillion on games, and I told him, well, it's a good thing you're collecting Atari because original Atari games, most of the good ones sold millions and millions of copies, and they're super common.
Right.
Like for honestly for under $50, you can get a decent size, great collection of 2600 games.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was cool because I got up today and that was the first message I saw from him. He's like, I got my first Atari ever. And he had a picture of it there all hooked up. And I'm like, that's great.
You could tell he was excited, and I was excited for him.
Definitely. I'm trying to
was
get
awesome.
a list of some games that are a lot of fun. He asked me about Keystone Coppers. He said, that looked great. And I'm like, yeah, it is a lot of fun, but it's a $70 game. It's a homebrew game. So you can buy Keystone Capers for the 2600 for probably $10. I don't even know. I haven't priced that.
It's been a long time. So, but honestly, you could still find a lot of those games really cheap. Like if you're on like Craigslist, or you're like, because Atari 2600 in our community, very desirable. Right. That's the nostalgia king. In a lot of other people's gaming things, it starts with Nintendo. Like you go to a gaming convention here, and there's almost no Atari, almost no Intellivision or ColecoVision. Like there'll be a couple scattered around, but nobody wants it. It doesn't sell.
Right.
It's all Nintendo and up, because I guess that's what was made famous by like the Angry Video Game Nerd and at the NES Punk, and like if everybody was doing the Nintendo content. So it is what it is. And BCB says, I just emulate, save a ton that way, just buy the stuff you genuinely love. I totally agree, and that's why Bart is also getting into Intellivision Sprint, and he's excited for that because he did used to have it in the Intellivision.
Yeah, because he did ask me what a good way was to play, Atari games. And I did point out, like the Game Station Pro and stuff like that, but it's pricier again. When it first came out, it went down. Yeah, it's back up again. So I think it was just the 7800 plus was $50 that day. So it's hard to pass that up, but at the same time, you can't play ROMs on the thing. So
yeah, but it's one of those things. Like I had, when I was talking about how I was pretty excited for the Intellivision Sprint, I had people in the chat, lots of people in the chat, oh, it's worthless without a cartridge slot. It's worthless without, and don't get me wrong, I'd love a cartridge slot. But guys like Bart, and that's the people that Atari was targeting, he wouldn't have bought it if it was a cartridge-based system.
Right.
He wanted something where he could just play, and that's why I made my, shameless plug here. I made a video on where to find Intellivision ROMs, and like 60 of the ROMs, over 60 of the ROMs in that video are free. And there's 60 games you can add to your Sprint day one.
Right.
If you watch that video and go to those links. And that's exactly what a guy like Bart wants. Not everybody wants to have a big stack of cartridges everywhere. I do. My wife doesn't know.
It's the nice way to do it, right? You'll throw your ROMs on there. You have your Intellivision controller, so you're not emulating on a computer trying to figure out what the right controller is for an Intellivision game or anything. Because he does have a Pi, but I think this was perfect. He started out with, he bought that Intellivision with his own money and bought baseball, loved baseball back in the day on the thing, and then at one point he lent the thing to somebody and never got it back. So I think he was just really excited. Like when you had an inside scoop and you couldn't tell us and we were all trying to guess what was happening, I said to Bart, I don't know. I said, Mike can't talk about it. He won't talk about it, but I think there's something coming with this Intellivision. And he said, oh, really? So I knew, he doesn't play console games all that often. So this is going to be something that he's going to like.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. And Cyrus is absolutely right. We got to convince the remaining homebrew holdouts to release ROMs. There is some good news on that front. I know Intellivision Revolution, who has long been a holdout on digital sales, like you could get some of their games, like if it was programmed by Brian's Man Cave, you can get those ones from him. But a lot of Rev's games you haven't been. I know he's working on potential ROM distribution stuff. Electronite just started doing ROMs last year, which is awesome. Intellivision Collector's always been pretty good with that. He's bought up like a lot of old Cote Gamers ROMs you can get from Intellivision Collector. So there aren't actually that many holdouts still left. maybe Inti Home, but nobody wants to play those games. And OG Hugo, at some point, like Casey isn't here, so at some point somebody had to say remote.
Well, and I'm waiting. I hope that somebody, I don't know if it's out there, but in Televania, I have the cartridge. I want the ROM, and that's the controller I want to play that game with.
Yeah, it makes
I have,
in Televania so much more playable.
Yeah, I haven't tried it with mine yet because my television's giving me some problems as far as colors go and noise on the screen and stuff like that. So I'm waiting. I would love to have that ROM on the Sprint so I can use my controller. And of course, the adapters that are coming out at some point for the Sprint for these controllers.
Yeah. So this is, for those in the chat who don't know, this is the OG Hugo controller for the Intellivision. I absolutely love this. It doesn't, like, it is an 8-way, like it doesn't have a disc, so it's not going to be perfect for every game, but for the games it works for, I prefer this. And Intelivania is definitely one of those games. But yes, and that's what I was about to say, that right now it's not out yet, but there should be a dongle, a DB9 to USB adapter that you'll be able to play using this, or like a BD Retro Mods arcade stick, or your Intellivision 2 controllers on your Sprint, and it should work with anything that is compatible with the original. And of course, when that comes out, I will be doing lots of testing, as will Tracy, the television fella. And we've got Off Grid Arcade decided to join us just as we're getting ready to wrap up.
Oh, that's good. We ripped on for over an hour. So.
Bart, we actually talked about you a fair bit during the podcast. And personally, BCB says, personally, I like the spongy, cushiony OG controller, mostly because I'm too cheap to buy new controllers. Yeah, but so for homebrews, or for like games like Lock and Chase or Burger Time, or like, it really makes those games better. But yes, I can absolutely recommend. So do you want good original games, or do you want good homebrew games? Because the homebrew library mops the floor with the original library, I think. There are some great original games as well. Burger Time's probably my favorite.
Yep.
Absolutely play Burger Time. Tron's Deadly Discs. What else? Dreadnought Factor is awesome. Those are originals. But if you want homebrews, and you can get ROMs for these, go watch my video on it. TNT Cowboy, Anthropomorphic Force, Star Mercenary, Pandora Incident, Operation Cloudfire, The Show Must Go On are some of my absolute favorites. That's that. All right. So, and there we go. Yeah, you need to, and if you go to OG Hugo's site and you use the code MGG, you will get 5% off anything you purchase. He doesn't only do controllers. He does stuff for a lot of systems, including mods and AV kits and stuff like that. Lock and Chase on the Intellivision, I suck so bad at. I'm decent on the 2600, but something about my thing. But yes, my ROM video is all homebrews. So absolutely go check out that video. It's on my channel. Okay, so Poe, this was super fun. I love just chatting with you, and I don't get to do it enough. We've got to get you on the podcast, and you and Mike the Gaming Road Warrior need to pick up what has been laid down in the show and start something, because I would tune in every time. whatever the day, whatever the time, whatever works for you guys, whoever you have on, I would absolutely love to be able to watch you guys.
And I want that Jeffrey guy. We were talking about him. I told the guys about him too. That dude is hilarious. The level up with the Jeffrey.
and because you had mentioned this is what's his Level Up with Jeffrey or something?
Yeah, Level Up with Jeffrey.
He was a YouTuber of the month
Yeah, I didn't know that. I said that when I sent the message to you guys. I'm like, this guy needs to be YouTuber of the month. This guy is hilarious.
He was definitely a nominee at some point because I was already subscribed to him, and I would usually find people through YouTuber of the month. So, and yes, Mr. POESTYLE is awesome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So as I always do now on the poll, I did a little poll and I said, are you subscribed to Mr. POESTYLE? 53% was yes, 35% was no, but I put a third option there. And 12% was I will be after this.
Oh, very nice.
So you might have one or two more subscribers at the end of this interview, and you absolutely deserve it. Like I said, I love just hanging out with you on your channel.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's for sure.
So thank you everybody for watching. Like I said, we're going to be live tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern for Intellivision Day. I'll be playing Intellivision. And Off Grid Arcade was looking for option 4. I'm unsubbing tomorrow.
Oh, he always does that to me. Unsubs.
And then Saturday I am on Game Freak's channel doing
Nice.
the Retro Hour.
That's
is game on forever at 10 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you again, Mr. POESTYLE, for joining me. You've been a good friend for a while now, and just the vibes are good. The vibes are good. It's like hanging out with my buddies in college, and I love it.
That's what she said. Is it too soon to use that again?
No, sorry, it's dead. No, now we're not friends anymore. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.